Yo, what's going on, man? This is the ChrisBeCappinn Show. Welcome in. Today is August the 6th. This show will be for August the 7th games. I'm doing the show early just because tomorrow's a little hectic for me. So I wanted to give you guys my thoughts. There is a 3-game slate. As far as the Vegas and Golden State game, at the recording, I'm doing this show before that game even starts. I talked about Joe Lloyd over her 3-point prop if you guys listening to today's show. And then I also talked about Asia over her boards. I didn't bet either of them. I kind of wanted to bet the side and take the Valkyries, at least first half, but still kind of waiting on the injury report. Still don't know if Xander Seeley's going to play. Still don't know if Tiffany Hayes is going to play, even though I guess she is going through shoot around. So we shall see. But I didn't bet the game because aces are a little volatile. And the Valkyries back at home with some rest. Who knows? So I stayed away from that game. We're going to jump right into it for tomorrow. I think the first thing I want to discuss is it was actually Jackson, but I don't think Jackson actually got any looks on this game. So Jackson liked the under as far as the total in the Aces game, but when I typed in the prompt for tomorrow, I don't really think anything came up. Like I don't know if Jackson just doesn't have the lines, but I got some player props that I'll share with you guys. So check out the code, look at it for NFL type stuff and MLB, whatever it is that you're looking for. And we'll get back to Jackson for tomorrow. Like I said, the last time I did a show, both plays were voided because it was Angel Reese who was ruled out. And then it was Ariel Atkins who was also, it was Angel Reese and it was Brittany Sykes who ended up getting traded. So let's go straight into the games for tomorrow. So first up, we got the Atlanta Dream and the Chicago Sky. This line opened, I think, at 9.5 is what I saw that. Total was at 158. Total has come down a little bit. Spread has come down a little bit as well. So Angel Reese is still without a timetable to return. I'm guessing she's not going to be available in this game tomorrow. Maya Caldwell on the Atlanta Dream side of things is already listed as out. Brittany Griner is doubtful. Ryan Howard, who is supposed to be making a return here soon, is listed as doubtful. Doubt she comes back tomorrow. Haley Van Lith is probable. Anya Wede for the Chicago Sky is probable. Ariel Atkins is questionable. So Ariel Atkins came back in the last game, actually played really good. I think I wrote it in my notes. He played pretty good in that game. I'll talk about it in just a second, but I know I was looking into it. I think she had 15 points, was a plus 14. Don't quote me on that. She played really, really well, and she helps out the Chicago Sky's offense a lot. So I'm just going to get right into it. You got a dream team that's already beat this Chicago team 3 times already. They covered the first game. They covered the third game. Atlanta, for what it's worth, is 7-3 ATS in their last 10 head-to-head matchups with Chicago. So they've been able to take care of this Chicago team. Chicago coming off a big win. They needed that win. They had lost 8 straight games without covering any of them. Ariel Atkins comes back and Brittany Sykes gets traded, and boom, there you go. You got to win, even as a dog at the crib. Chicago doesn't have to travel any, but Atlanta does have a 3-day rest advantage in this spot. Atlanta's not played since I think like Friday. Sometime over the weekend is when they played. They beat the Mystics, I think, in their last game. So this is a favorable spot for Atlanta. I do feel like Atlanta should be able to get the job done, but the injury report does scare me a little bit because if Ariel Atkins comes back, Chicago's offense is going to be a lot better, which is why, in my opinion, the top play in this game is the over. Chicago's defense is not as good as they played in the last game. They held Washington to 41% shooting from the field, 13% from the 3-point line. We know Atlanta's offense is a lot better. On the offensive end, for the Chicago Sky, I talked about Ariel Atkins. She looked good in the return. She played 24 minutes. She scored 15 points. She was a plus 11. Chicago still shot just 27% from the 3-point line. What stood out even in the win for Chicago is that they still turned the ball over 19 times. That's problematic. I think Atlanta will be able to force some of those turnovers. In their last 5 games, Atlanta's top 5 in opponent turnover rate. They're also 4th in opponent turnover and points scored off opponent turnovers as well. So I think Atlanta will be able to get out and run, especially if Ariel Atkins doesn't play. This total will probably come down. That's when I'll probably take it. Chicago turns the ball over more than any other team in the league, and they allow the most points off turnovers, right at about 20 per game. The strength of the Sky is their ability to be able to rebound the basketball, the second in offensive rebound rate, on the season, but 6th in the last 5 games. A lot of that has to do with Angel Reese not being there. Atlanta allows the 4th fewest offensive rebounds and the fewest rebounds in general. So Atlanta's the best rebounding team in the WNBA. Without Brittany Griner, they've still been a pretty decent rebounding team as well. The other thing about Atlanta is their offense has been cooking. Last 5 games, they're second in offensive rating, they're 4th in scoring at 89 points per game. In the last handful of road games, they scored 88 against Dallas. They scored 90 against Minnesota. They scored 90 versus the Mercury. They did have a game in there where they only scored 72 versus the Aces. Little stinker there, but they did get to 86 the last time that they played the Chicago Sky as well. And they're over the 83.5 team total in 4 of their last 5 road games when they have the rest advantage as well. Atlanta's actually cleared 83.5, which is their team total for tomorrow in each of the games that they played against Chicago this season. So I think with Ariel Atkins being back, like I didn't give you guys the numbers, but she helps out the offense a ton. So I looked it up both ways. Chicago with Ariel Atkins on the floor, they got a 103 offensive rating. Without her on the floor, they got a 90 offensive rating. She is their leading scorer. With her on the floor without Angel Reese, because that's probably going to be the most likelihood scenario if she plays tomorrow, Chicago has a 113 offensive rating. So I think Chicago, I mean, we're not asking Atlanta to contribute that many points. I think that they should be able to. I think Chicago is going to be able to. I think Atlanta's going to be able to score the ball as well. So yeah, I kind of like the over in this spot. 157.5 is still available. I think also with Brittany Griner being doubtful, I don't think she's going to play defensively. Atlanta's defense drops off about 9 points without BG on the floor. And I think that Atlanta's going to play faster too. So I say all that to say best play, in my opinion, is the over. You just need the Chicago Sky to contribute. And if Ariel Atkins plays, I do think that we see enough for, both of these teams to be able to get up and over the 157.5. At first, my initial look was just on Atlanta team total over, but we'll see what the injury report does. Out of all 3 games tomorrow, this is the one that has the most injury implications. All right, next game up, Fever and the Mercury. This line, I think, has come down now to about 4. It opened at 6, which is where I saw it at. The total was at 170.5. It's actually moving north, 171. As far as injury report, I don't see anybody listed on the Fever or the Mercury side, so we should get full strength from both of these teams, outside of Caitlin Clark, of course, who will miss, I think, her 9th straight game. So Indy has covered 7 of their last 10 games overall. They're coming off a 9-point loss to the Sparks in LA. This will be the last of a 4-game road trip for them. Typically, that can be a little bit of a letdown spot. Specifically on the offensive end, we see teams kind of run out of gas when they're playing the last game of the road trip. We'll see what happens tomorrow. Phoenix back at the crib where they are 9-5 against the spread after beating and covering against the Connecticut Sun 2 nights ago. Well, or you can say last night, depending on when you're watching this video. Phoenix, after losing 5 of their last 6 games, they've actually won back-to-back games. They've covered back-to-back games. Granted, that came against Chicago and the Connecticut, 2 of the worst offensive teams in the WNBA. So take that for what it's worth. I think that's the reason why this line is getting shorter. We also just seen these 2 teams play, so you got a quick revenge spot here for Phoenix as well. They did lose 107-101 in last Wednesday, actually. The game was played in Indiana. Indiana has actually beat Phoenix 5 straight times, and they've covered all 5 spreads. So that may be a reason that we're seeing some money come in on the Fever as well. Fever, I don't know if you can say that they overlooked the Sparks the other day. I wouldn't say that they overlooked the Sparks because they had double revenge, but the Sparks are actually hooping right now. Probably the best offensive team in the WNBA, especially when you're getting 25 points from Rakia Jackson on back-to-back nights, Ezra Stevens hitting 5+ threes, and Kelsey Plum out there getting double-digit assists. That's neither here nor there. In this game, I kind of feel like we'll see the best defensive effort from both of these teams. I think based on what we saw last week, when these teams played last Wednesday, of course, that game did go up and over the total easily. I think it went up and over by 40 points. We got 2 pretty good defensive-minded coaches here. Nate Tibbetts is – I don't really know how to describe Nate Tibbetts at times. He can be really good. The Phoenix Mercury players can be really good. And Stephanie White, I know she's going to have a bone to pick with her players after giving up 100 points to the Sparks in that last game. The Sparks got 100. They shot 56% from the field, 50% from the 3-point line. I know she was pulling her hair out that night, trying to figure out, ways to be more effective on the defensive end. I think they have to be better defensively. Phoenix is coming off a game where they held Connecticut. Being back at home, the defense is a lot better. I'll talk about that in just a second. But they held Connecticut to just 35% shooting, 20% from the 3-point line. Granted, Connecticut's offense is nowhere near good as this Fever offense. But I do think that, with this total going up 4 points, it probably is going to touch 172, in my opinion, 172.5 maybe. I want to pounce on the over. I want to pounce on the under and buck the trend that the market is going in the direction of. Initially, my thought process was Phoenix team total under because it's 88.5. That number, I feel like Phoenix offense is slightly overvalued in the market just because of what they did when they had Satu Sabli and Alyssa Thomas and Kalia Copper earlier this season. But they've actually been held under their team total in 3 straight games and 6 of their last 8. And Kalia Copper and Satu Sabli were a part of some of those games. I know Satu's coming back off of missing a game, but like I just think the numbers are a little bit inflated. Even given that the Fever are first in pace in their last 5 games, I think it's just so many things that could happen that could keep Phoenix under their team total. You look at the Indiana Fever, they allowed just 81.5 points per game on the full season and over their last 5 games. And that's with them giving up 100 points in their last game. To the Sparks, Indy games are 6-1 to the under if they're coming off a loss. And the loss, the game went over. So indicating that their opponent probably went over their team total. 6-1 to the under. They've given up 89 just twice in 7 tries when they're coming off a loss and the game went over in the last game. So that's where initially I thought Phoenix team total under. I still think it's playable. Maybe we get an 89.5. But then the full game under also made sense because, like I said, Indy coming off a game where they gave up a ton of points to the Sparks. They should be better defensively in this spot. These 2 teams just played. We saw Phoenix struggle to get stops, giving up 100 points to – I'm sorry, not Phoenix. The Fever giving up 100 points to the Sparks. But now you get the quick revenge here for Phoenix back at home. Satu had a quote that was something like, we need to get them back. I think that, for me, I think that comes on the defensive end. If you look at the Fever road games, they only average about 163 points per contest in 16 road games. If the total's above 170 and the Fever on the road, they're 3-1 to the under. And then you look at the Mercury home games, they average 162 points. This is the highest total of the season for the Mercury at home. Their second highest total was the game that they just played against the Phoenix Mercury. Against the Connecticut Sun. And that game stayed under the 169.5. Granted, went under by 21 points. Granted, it's the Connecticut Sun offense. But yeah, both of these teams are top 6 in defensive rating in the last 5 games. Indy is also top 5 defensively on the road. Phoenix is number 4 defensively at the crib. So I think it's going to be, I know it's a lot of star power in this game, but I think it could stay under. So I'm going to see how high it gets because the market doesn't agree with me, but I like the under in this one. And as far as player props go, I think, it's hard to not look towards AT. So I just want to pull this up real quick and show you guys what I was looking at. Let's see if I can find it real quick. Let's see. So, all right, cool. All right, I got it up. Let's go over to Outlier really quickly. Minimize myself. So Alyssa Thomas double-double. This is a spot where, she's just kind of cooking right now. If we look at her double-doubles, you can see that she's over in 7 of her last 10 games. AT is just kind of doing it all right now. It feels like every game is like some stat that she's breaking, like some record that she's breaking or, some record that she's tied. So she's had 5 straight games with a double-double. She's over in 7 of her last 10. 7 of her last 20 as well. Even with Kalia Copper and Satu Sabli being back, I think she's going to be needed to go down there and grab boards because Indy is one of the better rebounding teams in the WNBA. I think even putting AT's double-double, plus a win, on FanDuel may even get this down to evens because I think it is minus 135. You can see the best odds right here. So I like AT double-double. I think that she should be able to get active tomorrow on the boards, and I think she can get 10 points as well. The assists will come pretty tough, I think, because the Fever are one of the better teams in the WNBA. And on the other side, I think you got to look at Kelsey Mitchell just because, for one, she kind of stunk it up the last time that these 2 teams played. But Kelsey Mitchell's hooping. It feels like all the offense is kind of running through her. I would play points plus assists. I think that's the best line to look at. But, I couldn't talk anybody off just straight points. You can see she's over in 7 of her last 10. Her assists is the reason why I want to include her assists because she's also over in 7 of her last 10. But if we just look at assists, look at this. Line sitting at 2.5. It probably is super juice. You can see minus 160. But she's had 3 assists or more in 6 straight games. So, and she's coming off a game, granted it was a Sparks defense, but she had 6 assists in this game. And even against a stingy Seattle defense, she had 5 assists in this game. So I just think the usage is going to continue to be there for Kelsey Mitchell. I would play her points plus assists. I would play this number here. Granted, she only had, 11 in the game, 11 combined, 8 points and 3 assists in this game combined here. But that's because the other players kind of step up and play well. I would expect Nate Tibbetts to make some adjustments, and maybe Kelsey Mitchell is the player that has a better game in this one. So those are the two player props that I looked at in this game. And my thought process is buck the trend and take the under in this extremely high total game with two teams that are absolutely capable of playing defense. That's the way I think about the game. Next game up, I would also be taking the points with the Fever. I think Phoenix wins. I don't know if they cover. So we'll see where the line goes. I would have liked to get a +6, but we'll see where the lines goes. Next game is Sun and the Sparks. So this one will be a little bit quicker. Connecticut is so I looked at the injury report. I didn't see anybody on there for the Sparks. Sparks are hooping right now. Really hard to not want to back them in some form of way. Now laying double digits with them is not something that I'm interested in, and I'll show you guys why. So I think I saw Bria Hartley listed as questionable for tomorrow. I think that's the only person on the injury report for Connecticut, but keep your ears to the Twitter streets because that's where you'll find out the information if you don't know. So we got a Connecticut team that, was looking pretty good. Now, granted, all those games were at home. They go on the road and they get absolutely beat down. They scored 6 points in the first quarter against the Phoenix Mercury 2 nights ago. So second road game for them. They are 7-3 against the spread in their last 10. Lost in Phoenix where, they couldn't get the offense going at all. They've played in 3 straight unders now. Offensively, they haven't gotten to 80 points in 3 straight games after scoring 85 points or more in 3 straight games. So Connecticut, who knows, man? They're good, they're bad, they're hot, they're cold, they're up, they're down, who knows? The Sparks, on the other hand, they've won 8 of their last 10 games. They've covered back-to-back games. They've won and 7 of their last 10 they've covered, but they haven't been laying this big of a number. They've also played 9 of their last 10 games over the total. And the only game that went under was the game I actually bet over. We had cash them overs as well, but they went under in that game against the Aces. We bet the over in that game, and they scored 74 points. Go figure. This will be the third matchup between these two teams. Sparks have won both games so far this season. Both games did go up and over the total, but those totals were lower, 165.5 and 170. In the 165.5 game, it was 170 points scored, so 4.5 points to the over. And then in the 170 game, 187 points were scored. So can these two teams combine for 175? I think so. This is the highest total I think we've seen in WNBA. The odds makers are really just trying to price you out on the Sparks. So if you want to take them, I think you got to, they got to score 94 points in this spot. I think their team total is like 93.5 or something like that. And I still wouldn't bet the under. The Sparks have scored 94 points in 4 of their last 5 games, 5 of their last 7 games, and only one of those games actually went to overtime. That was the game against Seattle. Seattle's a pretty good defensive team. Connecticut is also a pretty good defensive team. They held, even though they didn't, score any points, they still held the Sparks. Not the Sparks. They still held the Mercury under their team total in that last game. But this one, I actually go over to Moneyball. This was something that I was looking at in the last game between these two teams I think it was right before the All-Star break when they played. And I think a lot of people mentioned it in the comments section because we was looking at that game live. So this is Moneyball. There's a link in the description if you guys want to check it out. The first thing I looked at, and I actually went back and looked at this Connecticut Sun this Seattle. I mentioned this against the when the Sparks were playing against the Indiana Fever on Tuesday night. I said, if I'm betting the game, I'm just betting Indiana team total up and over because even though the Sparks have been winning, even though the Sparks have been covering, they're still not stopping anybody. And you can see it right here, right? Sparks. So this is opponent team total record. You can see. So this is how much the Sparks allow other teams to score. They are 20-7. The opponents are 20-7 to the over on their team total. If the Sparks are a home favorite, 6-2 to the over. Yes, the Sun offense is not great. You can see that their team total records are here, 12-14-1. They typically go under. And if they're a road dog, 3-9-1 to the under. But the last time that these two teams played, Connecticut, and the game was in LA, Connecticut was able to find some ways to score the basketball. I actually went back and did some deep digging. In the last 19 Sparks games, they've given up 81. You only need the Mercury to get. You only need the Connecticut Sun to get to 81 points tomorrow. They've given up 81 points in 17 of their last 19 games. I do think Connecticut should be able to score. This is not the Phoenix Suns defense in any stretch of the imagination. If we just look at home defensive numbers, the Sparks are the worst defensive rated team in the WNBA. 108.4 defensive rating. Chicago Sky is a 108.3 defensive rating. Hence why I like, the Atlanta Dream being able to score 84 points tomorrow as well. So yeah, I think you just play Connecticut team total up and over in this spot. From a player prop perspective, I mean, this one was fairly easy. Hopefully the play cashes as easy as it looked. I'm gonna go back to Outlier and I'll show you guys Miss Plum, Miss Kelsey Plum, up and over these 5.5 assists. So this line is juiced already, minus 120, but it's only gonna continue to go up. Look at Kelsey Plum last 10 games. I mean, this is classical. If it ain't broke, don't fix it. She's over in 5 straight games. She's over in 8 of her last 10. She's over in 7 straight games. Connecticut allows the 3rd most assists against them earlier this season. You can see the head-to-head matchup. She did get the 6 assists as well. She's coming off an 11 assist game. I think you guys saw that here. Yeah, I mean, what's the worst that could happen? What's the worst that could happen with Kelsey Plum tomorrow? This line will probably be juiced to like minus 145 by the time the game starts. But yeah, Kelsey Plum is absolutely hooping. I think, just her ability to be able to trust the teammates now that they have a full roster, like De'Erica Hamby and Azurá Stevens and Rakia Jackson scoring 25 in back-to-back games. Just feel like, I know Alamad is there and she also is facilitating, but Kelsey Plum has the ball in her hands so much, man. So much. I talked about my girl Azurá on the last show. Did I better? No, because I like winning money. I mean, I guess not, because clearly I never bet on her. But I said, Azurá could, continue to thrive. You can see that she is absolutely hooping. Her points plus rebounds, even with Cameron Brink still in the, a few minutes here and a few minutes there. You can see she only played 26 minutes against Boston. She's still against Indiana. I'm sorry. She still got to 24 points, and this was probably due to her 3-point shooting. 3-pointers still listed at 1.5, minus 120 now. But I mean, when she goes over, she goes crazy. You can see she's coming off a game where she went 5 for 5. Yeah, she hit all 5. So yeah, Azurá over her points plus rebounds, over her 3-point prop. I think all of those things are live tomorrow. 8 for 10 on her points plus rebounds in the last 10. Her points in general, 8 for 10. Her 3, 7 of the last 10 as well. Like Azurá is a baller, man. I feel like she doesn't get the recognition of some of her teammates. But those would be the ways that I would be playing, man. Kelsey Plum over the assist prop. Azurá to continue to keep it going as well. Not sure if we can get some Cameron Brink blocks, but she did, I think, have 4 blocks in like 3 or 4 minutes in the last game as well. So those will be the ways that I would play this game. Connecticut team total over. Sparks probably gonna win this game. I don't know if they're gonna cover 10.5, but I think they'll be able to score. They could potentially go over their team total as well. Connecticut defense on the road is not as great in my opinion, but we shall see. Short list is, I left that other game up, but short list is here. Everything that I just talked about. Everything that I talked about. Use the link in the description if you guys are interested in signing up for the plays when I do make them. Resources are here. Check them out. Jackson, Outlier, Moneyball, or Odds Jam. And on the way out, man, hit the thumbs up for a brother. Turn the notification bell on. Subscribe to the channel so you know when I go live. And I will catch you guys in the next one, man.